Guys, welcome into another episode, Getting Well with Terry and Friends, um, Trends and Betting Picks. I'm Terry, ready to break down the MLB slate and the CFL slate. Of course, we have um, CFL kickoff tonight, the first game of week one tonight. So we will get into that. Quite a few plays actually for me in that game, some spots I really like. So we'll discuss, and a same game parlay as well in that game. So we'll get to that at the end of the show. But we'll start the show as we usually do, taking a look back at what happened yesterday on today's slate. Just bear with me a second here. Okay. And yesterday started off really rough. Really rough start today. The Atlanta Braves game, Marcel Ozuna, Orlando Arcia, nobody came through. Nobody got any hits at all. The two players there. Um, Shocking. Atlanta's offense disappeared in what was a pretty good game for their offense. But Nick Pivetta had a amazing game, and the Braves never got their offense going in that game. Alec Burleson, over half a home run, did not cash, but he did get the two bases at plus 138. Nolan Gorman, I guess his odds were that way for a reason. He had a bad game, didn't get a hit, didn't get a base, didn't get a home run, nothing. So a rough game there for Norman Gorman, as we like to call him, and we'll see if he can bounce back today. Cincinnati Reds were one of my premium plays up on the site yesterday. A nice 12-7 comeback win. They were down to their final out in the top of the ninth. Spencer Steer hits a two-run go-ahead home run, and then Jonathan India, a little while later, hits a grand slam to clinch the winning, clinch the win in that game. So that was a nice win there. Ellie De La Cruz had three hits, but unfortunately was unable to get an RBI in yesterday's game. Nick Castellanos hit a home run and cashed us the over 1.5 bases yesterday, so that was nice. Mark Vientos didn't get the over 1.5 bases plus 115. He did get the RBI plus 135, so that was nice. Alonso got two bases, cashed the plus 105, but didn't get the home run yesterday. And it wasn't looking good at all for the Mets props. Corbin was pitching great. Nothing was happening after the rain delay, but then later on in his start, the Mets got him, so that was nice. And now we go on to the New York Yankees game. Yankees run line, one of my premium plays on the site yesterday. I believe that's the one I gave out here on the show. So a nice winner there. And that brings us to the thank you segment of the day. And we will thank a certain player from yesterday's slate. And we will do that right now.
Lewis sends it high and deep to left field. Back it goes and gone. Another home run for Royce Lewis. And we have just seen some history. He has just become the first Minnesota Twin to homer in his first three games of the season. And it's 9-3.
I ask the betting gods, please, please, or the MLB gods, please let Royce Lewis stay healthy. The guy is he's a fantastic hitter, but unfortunately, he has dealt with a lot of health issues. That is why it's only his third game of the season yesterday. We cashed on him on day one of the season. We cashed on a home run prop with him. He got hurt in his second at bat. Came back the other day before last. Didn't bet him for a home run. Instantly regretted it when he hit a home run in that game. Well, yesterday we weren't going to make that mistake again, cashing plus 470 on Royce Lewis to hit a home run. So thank you, Mr. Lewis. Please stay healthy. Giancarlo Stanton over 1.5 bases plus 125 cash. He continues to hit the ball very well recently. His home run didn't cash though, plus 320. Baltimore money line. I should have known not to bet Baltimore on a game when Jose Barrios is pitching. Now, it was a tie game. It was the end of the game that the Jays won in the bottom of the ninth. So Barrios didn't really have a factor at the end of the game, but now he's 10-1 still against the Orioles, but the Jays finding a way to win, getting the win there, which was frustrating as a Jays fan. Betting on Baltimore and then the Jays screwing me, it was not fun. Adley Rutschman over 1.5 bases. He only got one hit the very first at bat of the game. And really, that could have been a catch and not been a hit at all. But he did get one. Didn't cash the home run. Riley Green over 1.5 bases lost as well. Machado RBI lost. But overall in the day, just down 1 unit, 1.07 units. So not the best day yesterday overall, but could have been a lot worse. Lots of red yesterday. A lot of games didn't go right, but it could have been a lot worse than just down 1 unit yesterday. Terry, let's have a day. That is the plan. That is the plan, Billy. Smash the like. Let's go all. Yes. Please hit the like button. Appreciate it, guys. Greetings, Terry and friends. Hey, Subaru. How's it going? Yankees, Pittsburgh, or Boston team total runs. Those are my leans, and I'm open to modifications. All right. Well, yeah, we will get right into the slate here. We have a game starting in around 20 minutes. So we will jump into that. I don't officially have any team totals yet. Of course, there was one that I was looking at or planning on to look at, but I ended up getting sidetracked. But we will, I will see what the odds are looking like for that play when I bring up the game here, because it just happens to be in the first game that we are going to talk about today, which is the Baltimore Orioles and the Toronto Blue Jays here. The Orioles have rookie Cade Povich making his major league debut in this game. 5-1 in AAA this season and 11 starts with a 3.18 ERA. So pretty decent start so far in the AAA this year. Now making his major league debut, and will look to get the win here in his first start. Yusei Kikuchi on the other side for Toronto. Kikuchi struggled his last game against Pittsburgh in the loss, 9 hits, 5 earned runs. Previous start against Detroit, 8 hits, 5 earned runs. And then the previous against the White Sox, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. So Kikuchi has struggled mightily against Pittsburgh, Detroit, and the Chicago White Sox. 3 teams. Obviously, the White Sox are a disaster, but Detroit and Pittsburgh, not known for their strong offenses, especially in Detroit, but still found a way to beat up Yusei Kikuchi. And now Kikuchi has to face the best team in baseball against left-handed pitchers in the Baltimore Orioles, who absolutely smash lefties. This game here is my one premium play that I'm giving out on today's show. We're going right back to the Orioles. Locked them in yesterday plus 110, which I got a good number. I believe everything is around minus 105 now. In this game, I think is the best odds for. Oh no, actually no, there is some plus money again. Plus 105, plus 110 at most spots. FanDuel, Pinnacle has plus 114 in this game. So there is some plus money now in this game. I get it, a rookie making his major league debut here, but um, the Orioles smash lefties. Pretty, Yusei Kikuchi is struggling mightily right now. So we're taking the Orioles as a dog to start the day off. Looking at player props here for this game. Gunnar Henderson 2 for 11 against Kikuchi. Jordan Westberg 2 for 8. Westberg is close to getting kicked off the spreadsheet because he's starting to go a bit cold recently. So he better get it together or he won't find himself on the spreadsheet tomorrow. That's how it goes. Gotta make room for other players that are hitting well recently. Anthony Santander just happens to be hitting well recently. Hit in 8 games in a row, multiple bases in 5 of 6, RBI in 5 games in a row. We're taking his over 1.5 bases for a half unit and also a half unit on the RBI. He's 5 for 15 against Kikuchi with a home run. So he's had some success against Kikuchi. And then Mountcastle, quarter unit on the home run. 8 for 17 against Kikuchi with a double and 4 home runs. So we will go with Mountcastle here against Kikuchi. No Jays props. Don't really want to bet any Jays props. And then also rookie making his debut. Not really interested in trying to guess how he's going to do. Still comfortable with the Orioles, even with the question mark of what he's going to do, because I believe whatever it is, it'll be better than what Kikuchi does in this game. And the Orioles team total over is the other one I want to look at. It is the other play that I am looking at. And we'll see here what FanDuel has it as, because they had the best price the other day. 3.5 minus 140. So what is 4.5? Plus 130 for the Orioles team total over 4.5. I'm locking that in right now for a half unit. We will add that in. Orioles team total over 4.5 for a half unit plus 130 at FanDuel. We add that in right now. There we go. Because that game is starting shortly. So if you want to get bets in for this game, I would do that now. So Baltimore money line, Baltimore team total over 4.5, and then the 3 player props here against Kikuchi. Good morning, Terry. Morning, Tim. How's it going? Kikuchi has struggled, and so have O's closers, Kimbrel and Cano. Yeah, that's true. Orioles up first 5 or first 3. I want to talk you off that. Like I said, we're having a rookie pitcher making his debut here. So potentially I would look more at the team total, which I just did. I just pulled the trigger on the team total. I'd look at that more. So you don't really have to worry about what Povich does in his start. O's minus 1.5, plus 176. Wow. There you go. There you go. Tommy Def, New York Yankees also lean Baltimore. They should hit Kikuchi. Yes, I agree. That's why I just pulled the trigger on the team total. Mountcastle with 2 bombs versus the Jays bullpen. Yeah, so even if for some reason he doesn't smash Kikuchi, the Jays bullpen has to come in after that. So I agree there. We'll move on along to the second game, which I believe is also starting very shortly here, which is between the Kansas City Royals and the Cleveland Guardians. Didn't have a play in this game yesterday. Don't have a play in this game today. And I will tell everybody right now, with the MLB today, there's quite a few games I'm passing on. Thursday, MLB slates can be kind of weird with travel days and looking at the next opponent and all that kind of stuff. So not going overboard on today's slate, that's for sure. This game here, Brady Singer against Tanner Beebe. Don't really want to bet anything here in this game. if you're looking at player props, you got to look at Bobby Witt Jr. for KC or Jose Ramirez for Cleveland. But ultimately, not one of my favorite games on today's slate. So we won't take too much time with that one. Seattle Mariners and the Oakland Athletics here. Um, Brian Wu on the mound for the Mariners. JP Sears on the mound for Oakland. And as you can see, the three hottest hitters for Seattle have not had much success against JP Sears. The hitters for Oakland, Rooker over 4 against Wu. And Wu is not a pitcher I really want to bet player props against. 2-0 on the season, 1.30 ERA and 5 starts. He's going 6 innings basically every start here. His last start against the Angels, 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs. 5 hits, 3 earned runs against Washington to start before that. And then a win against the Yankees where he went 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 7 strikeouts. So Brian Wu, not a pitcher I really want to bet against. For people thinking, oh, he got a bunch of strikeouts in that game, his last 2 games, he's got 3 strikeouts combined over 12 innings. So not necessarily someone I would want to look at for a strikeout prop. This game, honestly, would be a first 5 under. If I was going to get to anything here, I'd be looking at the first 5 under. I think we get a lower scoring game here. And Nick likes the first 5 under for the other game that we just talked about. And yeah, I can't talk you off that with the 2 pitchers on the mound today in that game. That's why I'm not on player props, because obviously if I'm looking at a game thinking it's going to be a lower scoring first 5 especially, you're probably not going to find any props. But moving on along to our next game here, LA Dodgers and Pittsburgh Pirates. I do not have a play listed here. However, that might change in a second. Let me bring up BetStamp and take a quick look at Will Smith total bases. We're looking at minus 109 to minus 115 in most spots. Will Smith is facing a lefty today. And we know if you watch the show throughout the season, especially recently, you know that Will Smith is very good against left-handed pitchers. Has not had success against Bailey Falter before, 0-1, but that's just one at bat. So no official play here, but I am looking at Will Smith in this game. Pittsburgh, Reynolds 2 for 9 with the home run against Walker Buehler. But ultimately, not a game I'm that interested in. Don't want to get to a side here either. Of course, Dodgers big favorites. Bailey Falter has not got smashed this year at all, really. 3-2 with a 3.22 ERA and 11 starts. No runs in his last start, 3 runs against Atlanta. No runs in his start before that. So he's been very, very good recently. The only play I could look at would be Will Smith total bases, but at minus 115 against a good pitcher, I'm just going to stay off. Just going to stay off here in this game. Good day, Terry. Late, but here. Hey, good day, Brian. Captain Brian. Thanks for watching, as always. Will the Pirates continue to hit and knock out Buehler? Potentially. Pirates plus 160. There's no way the Dodgers get swept by the lowly Pirates, right? Also look ahead for LAD. They play Yankees this weekend. Didn't the Pirates sweep the Dodgers earlier on in this season? If I'm not correct, I'm not 100% sure. But after losing the first 2 games of this series, do you really think the Dodgers are looking ahead to the Yankees this weekend? Like, maybe if they had won the first 2 games, and then maybe they would be looking ahead. But I don't necessarily think that's the case here. Um, I don't think so. If they were playing well and had won both games of the series, then I think maybe okay, they might look ahead. But after losing both games and not in the best fashion either, I think this could be a spot for the Dodgers, but not getting to it. Dodgers win, probably, but won't be playing this one. Atlanta Braves heading to Washington to face the Nationals. I believe. Yes, Ronaldo Lopez on the mound for Atlanta, and Mitchell Parker on the mound for the Washington Nationals. And I've said in a previous show, you can't hold grudges, but I'm not impressed with this. Having said that, I'm holding a grudge today. I'm not impressed with the Atlanta Braves right now. Um, this team, maybe they're just having a down year this year. But this team's offense has just not nearly been what it was last year. A lot of inconsistency, as you can see here. Olsen 4 for 10 on multiple bases, 5 for 11. Ozuna 4 for 8. Arcia 1 for 2. Nothing really stands out for the Braves when it comes to player props here. Obviously, with the embarrassing game they had yesterday, they should try to hit better today, but that doesn't mean they're necessarily going to. And then the Nationals, there's nobody I'm really interested in either. So this game, another pass. I know I'm passing on games today, but I'm not going to force out plays just to have a play in a game because that's how you lose a lot of units. So Otani versus lefties. Not sure what Otani's done exactly against lefties, but I know Otani has not been good at all recently. Yes, he got a home run yesterday against Keynes. Maybe that's the start of something, but I gotta see it one more time um, before I'm ready to bet him. That's for sure. Minnesota Twins and the New York Yankees here in this game, and I'm not passing on this game. Pablo Lopez on the mound for the Twins, 5-5 with a 4.84 ERA, is coming off a great start in his last game against Houston, which is a good offense. 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. But previous to that, he had been giving up 7 to 8 hits, 6 to 7 earned runs against Texas, Washington. So he had got hit pretty badly in recent games. He did face the Yankees in Minnesota earlier this year. 6.1 innings, he gave up 10 hits and 3 earned runs. And that was kind of the start there for his rough 3-game losing streak. He's given up at least 1 home run in his last 4 starts. He's given up a total of 6 home runs over his last 4 games. So not really what you want to be doing when you go to face the Yankees, who have multiple guys that could hit a bomb. In this game, Marcus Stroman for the Yankees, he's won back-to-back starts. He's been great all season long. 5-2, 2.73 ERA and 12 starts for the New York Yankees. Ultimately here, not touching Correa, although he does have some good numbers against Stroman. Not touching Jeffers 0 for 3 against Stroman. But shouldn't be any surprise. We're taking Royce Lewis. Because Stroman has pitched very well, I'm not going to go big on Royce Lewis. What we're doing is we're going a quarter unit on all 3 of these. Home run, 1.5 bases, and RBI in this game. So going to keep it small and light with the quarter units. But if he does what he does, what he's done, and hits a home run, then we're going to cash 3 bets in 1 swing. And that is the goal. And if he wants to be on the thank you play of the day tomorrow, then hit a home run. And he'll have a good chance. The New York Yankees here, when it comes to player props. Juan Soto is kind of on my banned list a little bit. Haven't had much luck with Soto this year. Multiple bases in 7 of 13. He's 10 for 30 against Lopez with 3 doubles and 3 home runs. So I would not talk anybody off going on Soto, but he's not quite consistent enough for me right now, at least. Verdugo, Volpe, we're staying off. Volpe a hit in 26 of his last 27 games. That is insane. He is on quite the heater. Not necessarily getting multiple bases, or 9 of his last 13, which isn't horrible at all. So if you want to look at Volpe, he's 1 for 6 against Lopez, ultimately staying off there. We are taking Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton props. Didn't take the home run with either guy. What I've done, over 1.5 bases for Judge, 6 games in a row, and then half unit and a quarter unit on RBI, which he's done 5 of 6, and then Stanton, half unit on over 1.5 bases and quarter unit on RBI. Judge 3 for 5 with 2 doubles and a home run against Lopez. Stanton 4 for 6 with a double. Both hitting the ball very well right now. Both have had success against Lopez, so we'll take both of those guys. And then, of course, Royce Lewis. I've mentioned on the show before, I'm not someone that likes when people use the word auto bet, and I don't really like when people auto bet things. But with Lewis, he's kind of an auto bet right now for a home run. Yes, he's only done 3 games, but he's only played in 3 games this season. And he was very, very good last year as well, hitting the long ball. So he is someone we will take until he goes cold. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Royce Lewis, Giancarlo Stanton. I agree, and I agree. If it ain't broke, Yankees run line, -1.5, +140. All right. This is my premium play of the day, which is available for purchase on pixelparlays.net. So I won't talk about the sider total. Is this game going over 8.5? Not going to talk about the sider total, but it's available for purchase on pixelparlays.net. Link is in the description below. Juan Soto angle is to play runs. He gets on base, either walks or hits, and he gets driven in. Maybe, but you have to go with over 1.5 runs, most likely, to get a good price there. Lean mini. Yankees play Dodgers next. But they have, let's see, they play tomorrow, right? Or do they? Yeah, they play tomorrow. Yeah, they play tomorrow in New York. Okay, so they don't have to travel or anything. And the way the Dodgers are played lately, is it really a spot to look ahead? I don't know. We'll see. I'm not going to take that in my capping. Show is a sinker ball pitcher, so Royce is a decent bet. There we go. Twin spot today? Question mark. A loss before the next series against Dodgers maybe is a good balance. Not gonna, as I said, get to the sider total. But the New York Yankees have absolutely dominated the Minnesota Twins. However, so have the Orioles, and the Orioles lost yesterday, so nothing is guaranteed. But Lopez is a 4-seamer. Soto over half a run. Oh, it's only -125? Okay, interesting. It's not a bad price at all then. I stopped keeping track of runs because most of them were really bad odds, so that's interesting there. But we will move on along to our next game, which is the Chicago Cubs and the Cincinnati Reds here in this one. Javier Assad on the mound for the Cubs, Hunter Green on the mound for the Cincinnati Reds. And the Cincinnati Reds team is red hot. They are winning games recently. Very close. I was very close to pulling the trigger on the Reds today. Ultimately going to stay off because I'm not quite confident enough to pull the trigger here. But I kind of would expect some runs in this game. As you can see, Ian Happ, Cody Bellinger, Seiya Suzuki all have had some success against Hunter Green. Green just faced the Cubs in his last start. 6 innings, 3 hits, 5 earned runs, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts. Been pitching pretty well before that, but did have a rough start against this Cubs team in his last game. Javier Assad, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks in his last game against the Cincinnati Reds. And Assad has been giving up 4 to 5 hits, 2 to 4 earned runs, but 3 to 5 walks. So he has been walking guys recently, which isn't, as I said on Twitter before to people, I hate walks. If the total base is better, the last thing I want to see is walks because that's just a killer for total base bets. Having said that, we are going to take the chance that Steer doesn't get walked a bunch. Spencer Steer, uh, 8 of his last 9 games, he's got multiple bases. So, yes, people will say, oh, you just played in Colorado. Yeah, well, he was doing it before Colorado. He did it in Colorado. Now he's coming home to a hitter friendly park here. We'll take him over 1.5 bases, 3 for 11 with a double against Javier Assad. There are other Reds players that you could look at that are playing well. Friedel, Candelario don't have the best numbers against Assad. Really settled on Spencer Steer. Not going to go too big in this game. I would kind of expect the Reds bats to not necessarily cool off, but they did just play in Colorado. Luckily, they are heading home to a hitter-friendly park, so I don't think their offense is going to disappear. But going to stick with one prop here in this game. Spencer Steer over 1.5 bases. This one. First 5 over 4.5 and full game over 9.5 for Nick. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. Cubs spot, first 5 maybe is good shot too. Okay. Luckily, I'm not on the Reds, so if you like the Cubs, that's all good. We will move on along to our next game, which is the Colorado Rockies heading to St. Louis to face the Cardinals in this one. Cal Quantrill on the mound for the Rockies, Sonny Gray on the mound for the St. Louis Cardinals. In this one, I'm not taking any Rockies props. Nobody quite consistent enough for me here to take. And Rogers, Tovar haven't faced Gray before. Blackman's 0 for 4. And Sonny Gray, not really a pitcher you want to take player props against, especially when he is pitching well. He can be lights out. Didn't have the best game in his last start against the Philadelphia Phillies, but that's the Philadelphia Phillies. 5 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, but 10 strikeouts in that game. So got hit a little bit, but not anything to be upset about, especially when you're facing the Phillies. Looking at this game, yes, we are going back to Nolan Gorman. Home run, quarter unit, and over 1.5 bases for a quarter unit. Alec Burleson, over 1.5 bases for a half unit, and RBI for a quarter unit. Both guys hitting the ball very well right now. Yes, Gorman didn't get anything yesterday. We'll go back to him today. Just a quarter unit plays here. And then Burleson has just been great. So we'll continue to take him here in this game. Dun, 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 dun. Rockies are back on my fade train after their performance at home. Yeah, they've had some good stretches, but overall, not a good team. Not a good team. I thought this was going to be a smash spot for Sonny Gray and St. Louis first 5 parlay piece, and then the line moved the wrong direction. There you go. There you go. I won't be getting involved in the side. So just give me Gorman and Burleson props here. Boston Red Sox heading to Chicago to face the White Sox. So it's the battle of the Sox here. Tanner Houck on the mound for Boston. Jake Woodford on the mound for the White Sox. Woodford one start against the Blue Jays, where he gave up 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks over 4.1 innings in the loss. Now I'll be looking to bounce back here against the Red Sox. Rafael Devers, Jared Duran back on the spreadsheet. They've been playing really well recently, both guys. You could look at their props. Didn't get to anything in this game. But Woodford did get hit against the Blue Jays, so you would expect him to get hit here again against the Red Sox. Ultimately, no play though. For the White Sox, no play there either. They did score some runs, 6 runs yesterday, which is good for them. But as you can see, Sheets 0 for 3, Luis Robert Jr. 1 for 7 against Tanner Houck. So not interested in taking props against Tanner Houck, that's for sure. With Boston, maybe Jaron Duran or Rafael Devers, if you wanted to play something in this game, you could look at them. Lock of the day. I'm shocked Nick would put that word there. Sox money line. I'm sure they're big favorites. So you're probably on the White Sox then, trying to jinx things. Oh, Sox money line. Duh. Yes, a Sox team is gonna win. Good job, Nick. You got me. You got me there. Arizona Diamondbacks and the San Diego Padres to finish off the MLB slate, and then we will be getting on over to the CFL. Looking at this game here, one play I'm looking at. Pavin Smith, over 1.5 bases, which he's done in 4 of his last 5 games, but he's not really available for props. Going to have to see if he's in the lineup. He is a lefty facing a righty, so kind of would expect him to be in the lineup, especially with how he's playing recently. When you've got a home run in back-to-back games, multiple bases in 4 or 5, the coach would be kind of dumb not to put him in the lineup. So we'll see if he finds his way into the lineup. If he does, and his props are available later on, I will be pulling the trigger on his total bases props, because that will likely be a pretty good price for that. With the Padres, what an awful game by them yesterday. No interest for me on the Padres here. They are facing Slade Chichoni here. 1 4 of 5.59 ERA in 6 starts, 7 games played. Did come off a pretty good game though against the Mets his last start. 5 hits, 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts, no walks. So somewhat decent game for him there in his last start, but I'm giving up 6 to 7 earned runs, 6 to 7 hits, 6 earned runs in back-to-back games prior to that. So we'll see how he does. This Padres offense, frustrating right now. If I was going to get to something, it would be Tatis. I'd be looking at Tatis total bases, but ultimately not getting to anything here in this game yet. But if Pavin Smith is confirmed in the lineup, we'll be taking his props here. Nick finds it funny that he got me. Yeah, you got me. You got me. All the Chicago White Sox bullpen is garbage. You can always risk taking their opponent live if the White Sox is ever up. There we go. Smart advice, and get a plus price. But now we will move over along to the CFL here, and I will switch the backgrounds and bring up the CFL spreadsheet. So let me do that here. Kind of fix this a little bit so it looks a little bit better. There we go. Not going to go through the legend of the CFL spreadsheet. You guys will be able to figure it out there if you look. I'll kind of go. Maybe I'll go a little bit as we go through here. I'll break down a little bit, but game 1 of the season, Montreal Alouettes and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers here. No stats, obviously, because it's the first game of the season, so nobody's played yet. I thought about putting last year's stats here. I didn't. I do have some last year stats for the player props, which we'll get to here. Winnipeg 3-1-1 in the last 5 meetings between these two teams. Obviously, that one loss was they had 2 losses. One was in overtime and one in regular time. That regular time loss was in the Grey Cup last year, where the Alouettes won the championship. And with Montreal, they are a team that really just got hot late. They got hot late, and they just kept going right into the playoffs, and ended up being the surprise winner here in the Grey Cup. How these teams done against each other? Well, in the games Winnipeg has won, um, they've really won. In two of the three wins, they won by 6.5. Or sorry, they won by 6.5, and they won by 13.5 in two of the last three games and three of the last five. So they have kind of smashed Montreal when they have won. Back-to-back games over 51.5. Three of the last five went over 51.5. So people might be asking, well, why aren't you on Winnipeg minus 7.5, and why aren't you on the over? Well, don't really want to get to totals here in week one, at least yet. There is one total I'm looking at for in the next few days that I might get to, but kind of want to see how things go with the total. And in this game here, Montreal perhaps has the best defense in the CFL. Obviously, we'll have to see. But they have a very, very strong defense, and Winnipeg has a very, very strong offense. So that kind of cancels each other out there when it comes to the total. And then when it comes to the spread, I like Winnipeg to win this game. I don't want to take the minus 7.5 in the first game of the year. They don't care if they only win by 6. They just want to win this game. So ultimately, nothing when it comes to the side or total. I do have a same game parlay, which I'll give here in a few minutes, that does have Winnipeg money line in it. That's how I'm going to back them. Nick likes Blue Bombers minus 6.5, which isn't available anymore. Good line. And over 47.5, minus 115. Welcome back, CFL. Yes. Yes. Bet Blue Bombers a couple days ago, minus 6.5, minus 110. Yeah, and I could understand someone doing that because that's huge difference between 6.5 and 7.5. Let me take a look now. Yeah, see nothing. 7.5's everywhere. So you wanted to take the Blue Bombers on the spread. You kind of missed your line here. Got around. We'll catch the end and recap later. Thanks for the great show, Terry. Best of luck to all. Thanks, Tommy. Thanks for watching as always. But we will go on along to the player props here. Take a quick look at the quarterbacks. Cody Fajardo for the Alouettes, Zach Collaros for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Collaros, the best quarterback in the league the last few seasons. He'll be looking to keep it going here. Stats here are last year. They played in 3 games against each other last year. First game of the season, second game of the season, and then the Grey Cup final. Included stats from all 3 here. As you can see, both gave up an interception in each game. No, you're not able to bet interceptions, at least yet, in the CFL, which sucks because there's one I really want to bet tomorrow. And we'll see if it's available. But these guys have been giving up interceptions. Fajardo, no passing touchdowns in the first 2 games, but he had 3 in the Grey Cup final. Collaros had 2 passing touchdowns in the first game, 4 in the second, but nothing in the Grey Cup final. And when it comes to passing yards, Fajardo inconsistent, Collaros not so good in the first game, but pretty good numbers there in the second and third game. Ultimately, not getting to any passing yards in this game. Would much rather look at other games, which we'll get to over the next couple days. But Fajardo, not somebody I trust overall. I am expecting the Alouettes offense to take a step back this year, losing their best wide receiver, Austin Mack, to the NFL. Then that's a huge loss. Austin Mack was the go-to guy for the Alouettes. And then William Stanback going to BC. I do expect the Alouettes offense to take a step back. Walter Fletcher will become the starting running back now. So we will have to see how he does. Doesn't have much numbers from last year as he was the backup, so don't really have anything for him. And when I'm looking at props here in this game, ultimately I'm not getting to anything with Montreal. Everyone will have numbers for next week, so we'll start keeping track of numbers next week. Getting to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers props though, and with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, not only do they have, at least the last few seasons, the best quarterback in the league, they also have the best running back in Brady Oliveira. He is a monster for the Blue Bombers. Looking at what he did last year against against Montreal, 120 yards in the first game, 120 rushing, 119 in the second game, and 119 in the Grey Cup final. He was awfully consistent with his rush yards, between 1 yard difference last season. And his rushing props for this game is 83.5 at DraftKings, minus 115. So that's my first play. 1.15 unit to win a unit on Brady Oliveira over 83.5 rushing yards. As you can see, over 119 in all 3 games last year. We'll look for him to get a bunch of rushing yards here. And that's my favorite play in this game. Dalton Schoen, his receiving yards went down each game. He had a touchdown in 2 of the last 3 games versus Montreal. Oliveira had a touchdown in 2 of the last 3 and 2 touchdowns in 1 of the game last year. Looking at the other wide receivers for the Blue Bombers, good receiving yards numbers, 87 and 74, and 65 and 77 for Dembski and Lawler. Dembski's receiving yards is around 40 something. So that's kind of interesting here. But the Montreal Alouettes have a good, like I said earlier, potentially one of the best defenses in the CFL. And with the Blue Bombers, they can spread it around between any of these guys. Drew Wolodarski is someone that Caleros looks at for touchdowns, definitely throughout the year last year. So he's sometimes a good guy to look at for a touchdown. Lawler, Dembski pick up the receiving yards. Not going to get to either of those guys in this game. But I will go through the recap here of all the plays, and then I'll mention my plays here for this game. The rest of my plays for this game as we do the recap. So I'll recap baseball first. Santander over half an RBI plus 140. Of course, that game's already started. I'm not sure what's going on in it yet, but we'll see after the show. Mountcastle home run plus 450. Santander over 1.5 bases plus 110. Baltimore money line plus 110. Judge RBI plus 115. Judge over 1.5 bases minus 105. Giancarlo Stanton RBI plus 165. Stanton over 1.5 bases plus 138. Lewis over 1.5 bases plus 145. Lewis RBI plus 180. Lewis home run plus 425. Spencer Steer over 1.5 bases plus 135. Gorman over 1.5 bases plus 150. Home run plus 450. Burleson RBI plus 175. Burleson over 1.5 bases plus 110. And then all of my plays for the CFL tonight. Brady Oliveira, as I said, over 83.5 rushing yards, minus 115 at DraftKings. And when it comes to the CFL, you really want to have DraftKings and FanDuel. They're the best books for the CFL, at least at this moment. Also going a quarter unit on Oliveira, the first touchdown score. So we're going to have some fun with that. Plus 400 for him to get the first touchdown of the CFL season. Dalton Schoen, anytime touchdown, minus 125 is a great price for him at DraftKings. So going 0.62 unit to win a half unit there. And then my same game parlay that I've got at FanDuel, Winnipeg money line Brady Oliveira, anytime touchdown, and Dalton Schoen, anytime touchdown, plus 219 for a quarter unit. So those are the remaining 4 plays of today's slate in CFL. Also, for those who haven't already, they should check out the CFL Future Show. Yes, me and Nick did a CFL Future Show on ESP or on the channel on this channel, Getting Wild, with Terry and friends. So make sure to go and watch that for some CFL futures, future bets on the season. But that is today's show. Thank you everyone for watching. Premium plays over on the site. Only one in the New York Yankee and Minnesota game. So you can get that over on the site. I do have CFL plays up on the site as well. If you want to purchase one, I would purchase the Sunday play, as I won't be doing a show on Sunday, so you won't get that play. I will be giving out my plays for Saturday, for tomorrow and Saturday games. So you don't have to buy those. I'll give them out in the show. But if you do want to purchase a play for CFL, purchase the Sunday night play. Hit the like and subscribe button if you enjoyed the show. Scheduling alert. Tomorrow's show will be most likely at 3 p.m. Eastern. The time is to be determined, but it will not be at the normal time, the normal show time, as I have a commitment that I have to commit to. So I'll be doing that. And then whenever that ends, I'll be doing the show. So the show will be a bit later, but we'll still do a show. I love tomorrow's CFL game. I love all 4 CFL games this week. Just no side in tonight's game, except for the same game parlay. But thank you everyone for watching. Best of luck on today's slate, and we will see you guys on the next show. Thanks for watching, guys.